What's up, YouTube? NBA Jerry here. This video is going to tell you why NBA Jerry calls Golden State the cheaters. Now, every story has a beginning, so let me start. Obviously, Golden State over the years have been a sucky team. They had some great runs with Run TMC and then Baron Davis and Steven Jackson, them boys upset Dallas Mavericks and stuff like that. But once they drafted Steph Curry, they had a little bit of hope because they can see that they had a very, very special player. And I have nothing against Steph Curry or Klay Thompson during these times, right? So they built their team organically. They had Mark Jackson. They had a great system with defense and everything else, and they got pretty far in the playoffs. Obviously, Steph Curry developed himself as the greatest shooter of all time. And, he wasn't very touted out of college or high school. You know what I'm saying? But when he came into the league, he had some ankle problems and shit like that, some injuries. But once he got over those, he started becoming a great player through his work ethic. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, because of his daddy, he was in the NBA and stuff like that. I believe that genetically, because who his dad was, Del Curry, helped him to be, an NBA player as far as, genetics, because his brother's an NBA player too. But I think some people are born to be shooters. They just have the God-given talent to do that. But also, he puts in more work than anybody on his shot. You know what I mean? So I take nothing away from Steph Curry. Now, when Mark Jackson was there, everything was cool. Then they fired Mark Jackson. And I started not to like them for doing that. And I love Steve Kerr. And then they hired Steve Kerr. And then basically they had two magical seasons. Steph Curry became unanimous MVP. He was just lighting up the NBA with his threes, hitting 400-something threes in one season. Klay Thompson was the second best shooter in the league. They were the Splash Brothers, best backcourt in the league. And then that year when they played the Cleveland Cavaliers the first year when they went to the finals in 2015, the first of four finals, Cleveland Cavaliers obviously had an injury. Kevin Love got hurt in the first year. The first series against Boston, when he messed his shoulder up. And then, obviously, LeBron James' sidekick, Kyrie, the Thought King Irving, got hurt in Game 1 of the NBA Finals. And then, you know what happened. LeBron with Matthew Dellavedova and a bunch of trash got beat 4-2. And to me, that was just incredible what LeBron James did. But anyways, and rightfully so, the better team won the series anyways. Golden State Warriors are the better team, and they won the series. Then the next year, we had everybody healthy. The situation. They were 73-9 and everything else. Now, before they got to the finals that year, this is when the bullshit started, right? So back when Kevin, before he became a snitch and a bitch and Horace Grant Durant, he was a great player. He led his team to the finals in 2012. He lost 4-1 to the Miami Heat, and him and Westbrook were a tandem. And then he got injured, and Westbrook pretty much took over the team, and a lot of people thought Westbrook was the better player than Kevin Durant. Then once Kevin Durant got back from his injury, they started hitting strides again. They were a 1-2 punch. They had a really good team, man. And that year, when they went 73-9, the Golden State Warriors that year, they were up 3-1, Oklahoma, over Golden State, right? And y'all remember that. Now, here's where the shenanigans begin for me. Now, reports are saying, now, first of all, let me say this. I am not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not like that. I just go by what I see, and then I make an evaluation based off what I've seen. To me, it was some bullshit when Oklahoma City lost that series 3-1. They had them, and then the next 3 games, Kevin Durant was playing different, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? He started doing some bullshit to me. And then that Game 7, a must-win game, when he choked those last few possessions and gave up the ball and stuff like that, and then his reactions after the game, he didn't even seem like he was mad. He was hugging Steph Curry and talking in his ear, and he was, hugging black-ass Draymond Green. And then later on, I heard through good sources that he was texting some of the players, in particular, now Durant was doing this, in particular, black-ass Draymond Green. So they choked a 3-1 series lead. And remember, at that time, Golden State hadn't lost. I don't think they lost more than 2 games in a row that year. And they lost 2 games in a row to the Oklahoma City Thunder. They didn't lose 3 games in a row. So then Oklahoma choked the 3-1 series lead and then went on to play the Cleveland Cavaliers in the finals. And then you know what happened. They choked the 3-1 lead and lost 3 games in a row and hadn't lost 3 games in a row all year. And I kind of believe the NBA set that up so that the Cleveland Cavaliers can win a championship. Part of it because all of a sudden Bogut got hurt. And then, you know, Draymond Green gets kicked out. Did he deserve to get kicked out? They definitely justified it. But I believe sometimes people make a sacrifice in the beginning so they can pay it off later. It's almost like they built the drama up, the NBA, so that Golden State can lose a 3-1 series lead, which has never happened before in NBA history, by the way. Never in the finals. They lose 3 games in a row. Black-ass Draymond Green gets suspended for Game 5. Game 6 and 7, they lose. And Game 6, if you don't remember this, Cleveland got a lot of calls Game 6. And they screwed Steph Curry. Steph Curry didn't foul out the entire season. I don't think his entire career. And he fouled out the game. And I think they kicked him out the game. Because remember, on the sideline, that shit happened to him. And he threw his mouthpiece and all the other shit. And then they kicked him out. And then Game 7, there was a little bit more shenanigans. And then they ended up losing. And I'm thinking, wow, I was happy at the time because I'm a LeBron fan. But looking back at it, man, the NBA was on some shit, man. I really believe that. And then all of a sudden, now let's go back. Now, Durant is a free agent. Everybody knows it. Everybody was talking about it. And you remember when Chris Paul tried to go to the Lakers, and obviously they didn't have an owner, the New Orleans Hornets, and they stopped the trade. So I think they didn't want an OP team at that time. They didn't want Chris Paul playing with, Kobe and all them other guys they had at the time. So they let him go to the Clippers. Because I think they wanted to balance out the NBA. They didn't want them all on one team at the time. So I'm thinking, okay, whatever. But all of a sudden, you let Kevin Horace Grant Durant, the day he signed with the Golden State Warriors, which then they became the Cheaters, I believe the NBA set the Cheaters up to win the NBA championship and have them be the quote-unquote golden boys of the NBA. And for them to have 4 All-Stars on the same team, and mind you, there's a salary cap. It's a soft salary cap, mind you, but there's a salary cap. How do you have fucking 4 All-Stars on one team like that? Let me explain. Steph Curry got his max. He got his 205 or whatever he got. But Kevin Durant sacrificed money, and he took a haircut and, took less money. I don't believe he took less money. I believe he's getting paid somehow, some way, either by Golden State under the table or the NBA under the table, because the amount of money that he took as a haircut was a lot, okay? And I don't think he's going to do that. And let me give you a spoiler alert. Klay Thompson is also going to be a free agent here soon. He's not going to leave Golden State. He's going to take another haircut too, and he's going to stay with them, Klay Thompson. He's going to have to take less money, and they're going to stay on the same fucking team. Now, Draymond obviously is not going to get the max deals and get the same amount of money as a Klay Thompson and the other 2 dudes, but he'll be there too. So for those 4 guys, for the NBA to let that team go and play, and now with the shenanigans in Game 1 and what happened last year, obviously, they just let them win fair and square because nobody's going to beat this team. That's why I call them the cheaters, because the NBA, I believe, is cheating for the Golden State Warriors. I believe how Golden State did it, meaning beating a team that was down, that they were down 3-1 to, and then signing that best player's team, putting them on the team, cheating to me, because they're not breaking the rules. I don't mean like breaking the rules or breaking anything else. I'm talking about cheating as far as being cheesy, as putting the best offensive player on the best offensive team. It's bullshit. It's stupid. And the way it all happened, now listen, if they built it organically, that's fine. They were never the cheaters until, in my opinion, Kevin Horace Grant Durant signed with the Golden State Warriors. That day he did it, they were cheaters, and all the shit that led up to it. And then, on top of that, they always let LeBron James go to the finals, because those are the cash cows. This is how I knew that the Celtics were not going to beat the Cavs. They just weren't, because the Celtics and the Warriors is not a good story as LeBron James going to his 8th finals, going to against this juggernaut, and then the bullshit that happened in Game 1. So the reason why I say Golden State are the cheaters for several reasons. One, they came back from a 3-1 deficit against the player that they later on signed. Then they flew out to Kevin Horace Grant Durant and pretended like, oh man, you know, we're gonna fly out. That's why they call them the Hamptons 5. Oh, we're gonna talk to you about being they already fucking knew they were gonna be on the team. Draymond Green and them were talking throughout the whole summer. I heard they were talking throughout the playoffs. Black ass and Horace Grant Durant. Okay? And then the way Kevin Durant acted after Game 7 of losing to the fucking Warriors, that didn't seem like somebody that was defeated. I was somebody's like, hey man, we did this, we lose, and now boom. Because this is what Kevin Durant said too also. He said he would have not joined the Golden State Warriors if they had won the championship. That's what he said. That was his quote-unquote breaking point. Oh, man, if they would have won, I definitely wouldn't have joined them. Get the fuck out of here. And the only reason they didn't win is to let the Cavs win, and then they say, oh, well, you know, they went to the championship team, Kevin Durant went to the championship, and make it look bad. It's going to look bad anyways, but fuck it, let us let him go, because it won't be as bad if he goes to the championship team. So that's why I call them motherfuckers the cheaters, because they manipulated the system. They got fucking 4 All-Stars out of 12 on the Western Conference. They're going to go to the finals every fucking year, and nobody's going to beat them, and they're a cheesy-ass fucking team. I don't care if you got a bunch of players on the same team organically. Doesn't matter. And I'll make a separate video why, you know, Golden State is not the same as Miami. I've talked about that a little, but I'll go a little bit more in depth. But if anybody asks me, why do I think Golden State is the cheaters, refer to this video, okay? All right, guys, I need you to do me a favor. If you agree with me, and I know I'm leaving some shit out. I might make a part 2. If you agree with what I'm saying, hit the like button, comment, tell me why, and then share with the video. Share this video with everybody, all right? If you don't agree with me, hit the dislike button, comment, tell me why, and don't tell anybody shit. Because you already know, I don't give a damn either way. Holla at your boy. Peace.